we have like 100,000 responsibility. It has what's supposed to mention. You do A, it's wrong. You do B, it's wrong. While your brother in the same language lane is occupied, if you have some slight underperformance, that's not underperformance. That's just right. Just keeps insisting with such. These are gonna get itself microwaved. These are repeating. All these are fucking lunatics. This entire page is lunatics, man. Recently, it's understood from our guys quite profitable. So suppose they're not enough of modernity capture. Check out, I have to naturally rise the sprite, that does his help, and therefore they're helping by not helping. Reason there can be such NSX. No, we simply don't have our guys. These are acting like regular humans, are completely trying to destroy this entire world, and I'm going to try to protect. I'll use nuclear bombs to protect. The whole stuff is self-insistment, selfishness, and a lot is repeating. These ones are repeating all these modernity stuff, and go fix the place. There's no relationships. Did they forget in their school? You have no freedom. Or rather, the leeches do have freedom. That's good enough. By natural order, they don't have it. These are all survival-driven bunch of freaks. Reason their word and whether probable words or for whether reason their word verbal word or for whether reason or whether not whether reason or whether words of can be profitable. We have to follow modernity formality even at quite a level. These didn't even build this whole place. Hitler went down, and Hitler certainly got murdered. Could it be by accident and someone wanted to go Hitler? Hitler was definitely targeted by these relentless freaks that are personally dip acids onto, possibly drill a needle into them, drills into them, and ship those into containers and burn those. Feature this onto CNN and hold exhibitions for Apache. We'll have expo center after these. This is a horrendous bunch. It will keep rocking around while not defending Detroit. Reason they're probable, and whether reason they're not, whether reason they're and it's probable it could be change of subject. All this is just freak show, man. And what is wrong with all these non-Asians? That is, and we're not mentioning it sort of different from certain formats, therefore it's wrong. What's all this grammar? Substitution. This is Nazism, guys. There should be grammar, but not to the extent. Notice they always manipulate, try to enlarge and shrink something. And they don't have to really shrink, they just enlarge everything else, other than the target to shrink. So they sort of don't have the target too, or whether reason and whether, also whether reason whether too. But simply do not tackle towards those. This is a vicious Nazism bunch. You can check out other pages and notice more. While I have some modernities, at least this phrase much more of a producer, but also the modernist producer yapping along, whether enough of sort of applying or to numerous of all this information is unneeded. It's just under-mentioning all the criminals and acting as if things are the same. How the heck can there be 7 billion humans? Or whether reason there how, and or perhaps of whether reason whether and minor instead of how could there be whether reason there, perhaps of whether reason there whether minor rather of how could there be 7 billion humans? Humans don't reach to 7 billion. This is not Saturn. We don't have a galactical federation with a total of 7 billion. Can we imagine Jennifer Lopez or Jennifer Lawrence, and also namely of reproduce or whether clone to 100 others? Why are they unique in ways? It's not so much they're unique because they're human. Humans should have some unique traits. If there's too much dupe, they're probably against nature, and they're being a bacteria. The enemies are quite monstrous, and the most of our guys are under our spells. Lord of the Ring, that type of stuff, that spell level is probably not near whether reason there, whether what I had described, whether what's described in the blog, whether reason and whether perhaps of whether reason whether minor rather for whether reason whether perhaps also and whether moderate rather of whether reason and whether perhaps also and whether rather of the content presented and whether described on the blog are probable considerable levels beyond whether also whether reason whether above whether reason whether probable and whether below whether reason whether different from the examples, whether some of the cases, whether events are whether probable, but also that's on events or whether reason whether probable on events from numerous of the movie shows, whether reason whether movie shows, TV shows, etc. Whether reason and whether, for instance, whether reason and whether another for the namely of whether reason whether the movie Lord of the Rings, whether the series of whether reason whether the movie series of the reason there of whether reason
the reason of the probable to be probable. Whether reason and whether reason and whether reason and whether minor remark, whether reason and whether minor rather instead of and whether minor instead of whether reason and whether another, whether reason and whether reason and whether just and whether reason and whether minor remark of. It could be probable of a minor remark of. Whether reason and also whether reason and whether probable of comparative to could be a minor remark of.